All right, 17.3, here we go. Going to be short and sweet. So, start on page 465. So, ozone depletion and recovery. So, ozone depleting substances are typically man-made. There's a thing called halocarbons. Those are the main types of ozone depleting substance. And if you look down below in that paragraph right there, it's going to talk about that stuff. You can see research identifying ozone depleting substances, primarily halocarbons. These are human-made compounds derived from simple hydrocarbons, in which the hydrogen atoms are replaced by halogen atoms, such as chlorine, bromine, and fluorine. So you can see basically the CFCs, or chlorofluorocarbons, they were mass-produced starting in the 1970s because they typically didn't react with other substances. So they thought things would be harmless, but they didn't take into account how it would react to the atmosphere. So some simple examples of these CFCs are basically refrigerators, aerosol spray cans, and air conditioners. They all produce these chlorofluorocarbons, or the CFCs. So you mix those with UV radiation, and then basically the thing starts mixing up, basically destroying the ozone. It turns it into oxygen, is what it's doing. So you can see that process basically taking ozone out of the atmosphere. And again, they didn't take into account basically getting into the atmosphere was going to be a problem. That's what they thought was, that's what they didn't take into account. So since so much, or more than 1 million tons a year of CFCs were produced, they made a hole in the ozone. And then every spring that hole opens up over Antarctica, which is obviously not a very positive thing. So moving on to 468 here, there's a thing called the Montreal Protocol. First off, there's this hole, and basically it's kind of the blue and purple. That's basically where it's more kind of exposed. That basically is going on. So this is a picture from 2006 showing kind of the worst it's ever been. So in response to all that stuff, they created the Montreal Protocol, which is kind of, like I said there, it's the gold standard. So this diagram here shows how kind of the Montreal Protocol and the other things kind of attached to it really took the CFC production just kind of down to zero. So you can see no protocol, kind of the projection of what's going on. Then the Montreal Protocol in 1987, London in 1990, Copenhagen and Beijing. Like it just, you can see how basically it went to almost just nothing, which is just awesome to see. And like I said, therefore the Montreal Protocol is the gold standard because this basically in 1987 when they adopted this, what it said, agreed to cut CFC production in half by 1998. But a whole bunch of other things were added onto it, so basically got it down to zero sooner than that. So science and industry work together for the common good, which unfortunately I wish was the common thing these days, but unfortunately it's not. So that's basically it for 17.3. One of the pictures down here talks about the ozone hole group quickly, so you can see it going on right there. The Montreal Protocol is basically obviously going up and down, up and down, up and down, but it's basically leveled itself off. So there's 17.3.